The Duchess of Cambridge has been a volunteer with the Scouts for around 9 years, but became joint president of the organization last year. Scouts CEO Matt Hyde was asked in a podcast last week whether he has any favorite stories from Kate's time with the Scouts. He recalled a great moment during the event she attended for the early years pilot 2 years ago, where they had 4- and 5-year-olds for the first time. He described how the press pack had moved on to set up for the next picture, leaving Kate alone with the children, who wanted to continue den building with her. The next stage was to check whether the den was waterproof, and the kids persuaded the Duchess to go into the den, while they checked how good it was by pouring water on it to see if she got wet or not. Suddenly the press realized they were missing out on a great picture and scrambled back to the area to get the shot. Mr. Hyde described it as a moment of magic. Pod Save the Queen is hosted by Ann Gripper and features Daily Mirror royal editor Russell Myers. In last week's episode, Mirror online lifestyle editor Zoe Fawzi interviewed Mr. Hyde about Kate's constitution to the Scouts and what it is really like working with her. At the end of the interview, she asked whether he had any favorite stories involving the Duchess. Mr. Hyde said, "I suppose going back to that day when we focused on those early years pilots with 4- and 5-year-olds at our headquarters. There was a great moment when, as you'll know, the press pack move around and follow her with a whole snapping of cameras, and they had moved on to get the next picture. But what had happened was the Duchess was left with the young people, who really wanted to do den building with her. And they'd made this den, and then they wanted to check whether it was waterproof or not. No, it was great. They basically encouraged her to go in there, and then they were all there armed with water to check if it was going to go on top of her or not. And suddenly you could see all the press had realized they were missing out on this fantastic picture, running back, scrambling back to get this incredible image, which they did, and, of course, that was the image that played out on many of the front pages the next day. But it was just that moment of magic you could see unfolding, and almost there was a slightly mischievous element from these 4- and 5-year-olds, who just wanted a bit of fun, but she just absolutely went with it." After he recalled the incident with the young children, Zoe noted that such events are the joy of doing royal engagements with children, because such spontaneity rarely happens with adults, who want to make sure everything is done by the book. She said, "I think that's what's so great about these visits that do involve kids is that wouldn't have happened if it was a load of adults. They would have thought, oh no, we couldn't do that. Obviously she needs to go and have her perfect hair for the next photo. But you don't get that with kids. It's like, yeah, we have to check if it's waterproof." Mr. Hyde agreed, "Absolutely right. And they did." The Scouts CEO said they are always looking for volunteers and emphasized that getting involved can make a huge difference to the lives of young people, but also to the volunteers themselves. He said it can be incredible, in terms of mental health, well-being and learning new skills.